What does it take to be champion of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series? It takes skill. It takes aggression. It takes finesse. And it takes the ability to win consistently. Today, Richard SPÉNARD, our reigning champion, tries to make it 3 wins in a row at the difficult Mosport circuit. The Motomaster team have not had success elsewhere, but here they win. And it's Richard's attempt to regain the championship lead from Rob Fellows. This is the GM Motorsport Hour. Brought to you by Players Limited, General Motors of Canada Limited, Quality GM Parts, the expert choice, and by Sony, the one and only.
Well, the 1991 Players Limited GM Motorsports Series is winding down. It's the second last event here at Mosport Park, and we thought that for the opening on this show, we would start right in midfield where a tremendous amount of this activity is. These are the real soldiers in the series. They're a lot of the young faces that are going to be up with that front-running crowd within a year or two. We've got the Paul Duckworths, the Sean Grossmans, the Joe Lapceviches here, and they have been very impressive in making this an extremely exciting racing series. But what are they doing? They are striving to be there, up front.
We've had a lot of new guys coming into the series this year that have been driving cars for a long time. So something like last year I came out in my rookie year and I finished 12th with 5 top 10 finishes. And this year, I mean, it's a battle. I'd be real happy to finish in the top 10 there.
Yeah, it's coming along. I was more worried that I had plateaued a little, but obviously not after today's strong qualifying. No, I'm happy with my learning curve. I'd rather learn at a nice slow level than rush it and plateau very early and struggle. It's the slow learning curve with the people who have been helping me this year. I think it's paid off. I'm learning the things more detailed and I'm learning them at a better rate, and they're sinking in better. Yeah. And I'm happy. I'm not going to try and push it. I'm young. I've got a long time ahead of me. I'm not going to burn out at 25. I'm only 21 years old, so I'm not rushing.
But it's here up front that the real heated activity is going to be happening today. Let's be honest, Rob Fellows still leads this series. His point lead is not much, though. We've got young Kenny Wilden, who's been so hot on the fastest qualifying position starting back in that third row. You got Richard SPÉNARD, who could still catch Rob Fellows. I mean, we still have a championship up for grabs here at Mosport today. It's going to be a good one.
Okay, Jim, another full grid here at Mosport Park, and the overall points battle heats up substantially. It's time now to look at that grid for today's race. In the 12th row, we'll start Ron Schell. Ron, a series regular, has seen his Poplar Groves Camaro turn better times each race.
And the former drag racer, John Kyle Jr. in the Broadway Auto Parts Camaro will start from row 11.
A new competitor, Neil Jameson, brings his A&A Records Jumbo Video Camaro onto row 11. Look for Neil to run fast here at Mosport.
Into his 3rd season in the series, Richard Waugh with the Firebird. He's on row 10 today.
From Sault Ste. Marie, 39-year-old Nick Pozzebon, a former Ontario wrestling champion, will try and muscle his way up from row 10.
Renault Hamlin in the Sherwood Firebird, starting in row 9. He stands 16th in the current overall points, equaling last year's run.
Joe Lapcevich Jr. in the Tim Hortons Camaro is one of the many series drivers to call this track home. He'll race for those valuable season points.
Sean Grossman, 21 years of age, in the midst of his 3rd season in this series. A strong qualifying run has placed him well up in the grid.
Another 21-year-old Paul Duckworth started his first GM race on this circuit earlier this year. He has lots of seat time at this track.
Norman Boyer in the Septic Nord Camaro coming off a great performance at Trois-Rivières. He starts in row 7.
Another member of the Tim Hortons team, Jeff Lapsevich, loves Mosport and will start in row 7.
Well, sporting new colors and sponsorship from Sobeys, 1989 Rookie of the Year Chris Davies starts his charge from row 6.
The Group FM Auto Pro RDS Camaro of Didier Schreinen has had a great qualifying session. He starts on row 6.
Finally finding his way to the podium this year, Robin Buck of the Pringles Firebird finished 3rd in Trois-Rivières, still looking for a victory. Needs number 1 this year.
Our leading Rookie of the Year contender, Jacques LeLievre, has had another great qualifying position starting in row 5.
Terry Betts, the big Sunoco Camaro, has suffered some handling problems. They've sorted them out today, though.
Montreal native Peter Cohen has progressed well through the entire season, placing his Magic Kiss Camaro on row 4.
27-year-old Kenny Wilden has proven his speed here, managing to capture our Sunoco Gold Fastest Qualifier Award.
We're going straight out for the points this weekend just because we're so far behind Rob right now, and before qualifying, Spénard was only 3 points behind us and Cabin was coming up, so we just went out full out and to get the 15 points, and we came away with it. And luckily Rob didn't come in the points at all in qualifying, neither did Cabin, so it really helped us out quite a bit.
David Imbringham in the Motomaster Camaro has started to turn his season around. Starting in the 3rd row, he'll be looking for a spot on the podium.
Richard Spénard has 2 wins at this track this year and is looking for the hat trick today. Richard has owned Mosport this year.
Doug Beatty Jr., a former driving instructor here at Mosport, and his EDS Camaro could surprise everyone up front.
On the front row, the man out front of the championship points, Rob Fellows, will be looking to wrap it up here today with a victory.
Our pole sitter, John Cadman Jr., has run strong all season, but would love to score his first Mosport victory here today.
It's a definite advantage. Both races this year have been won by Richard, and he started on the front row both times. I think it's hard to pass at Mosport, and starting on the front row, it may allow us to get out into a little bit of a lead.
And now the field gets ready. They prepare to warm up the Goodyears. Our entire 23-car field pulling out, getting set to do battle on this difficult Mosport circuit. We'll be back with the race start after this. Welcome back to Mosport Park. It's a beautiful day. The Z34 Lumina pace car is preparing the field for round 9 of this Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. They look in good order.
Wild race coming up. Race number 9 of this series. 2 races remain. The championship up for grabs. 3 guys can do it.
Okay, the Sony handicaps in car are going to be important today. Richard Spénard has one out front. So does Terry Betts, Chris Davies, and Kenny Wilden will carry one as well. And Doug Beatty Jr. a little further back in the pack. We'll watch Joe Lapsevich's view. John Cadman Jr. up front, and Paul Duckworth back there as well.
Right now, Rob Fellows leading that championship, but Kenny Wilden and Spénard both have a chance to get some valuable points here and some money, too, towards that championship.
Look at how beautiful this field is. They are in absolutely perfect order. Well, okay, they got a little close there, but no, there's no banging at all. Everyone seems dead serious about this start, Eric, and here they come preparing for it. Green flag flies. This race is underway, 9th round. We are going toward a championship in 91.
Look at this, side by side all the way through corner 1. That's a high-speed corner.
And look at this, they are still literally side by side. Okay, a little bit of a touch there. It does not affect our front runners really, but now Rob Fellows does, in fact, lead in front of John Cadman.
Kenny Wilden, number 17, as we watch him come through there, has got to start moving very, very quickly up through the field.
I don't know what it is about Mosport, but this Motomaster team, look at them. They're sitting here now in 3rd and 4th spot. It's Spénard just ahead of his teammate, Imbringham. But at Mosport, the Motomaster gang run well.
To date, Richard Spénard has won 11 races here at Mosport.
Actually, when you look at the season so far, he's led all 40 laps here. Will he lead lap number 1? I don't think so. Rob Fellows has got true command of the lead here so far.
Rob Fellows has only won at this track once before, and Spénard has held just about every record there is at this track.
Look at this. John Cadman Jr. now has a little peek, in fact, on Rob Fellows as they come up. And now let's look back from Rob on exactly what John Cadman Jr. is up to. That was almost a tap there, Eric.
This is going to be very, very close as they hit up that long back straightaway towards this sweeping right-hand corner, corner 8.
Okay, now remember, John Cadman Jr. is here off a victory in Vancouver on that street circuit, and he's thinks he wants to prove to the fans he can do this on a road course as well. By that I mean win.
This is a very fast track. The drivers like this. It's a real driver's course. And again, there are a lot of subtleties involved in driving this course to be successful.
Obvious determination here with Rob Fellows, the Sunoco entry out front, and Rob knowing he's got to have a victory here today. He's had some strange luck this season. Finally did get a win. He'd love to make it 2, though, at 91. You hate to be a champion and not have victories.
The field very, very close as they come into corner 2, the long left-hander. That is also a very fast corner.
Look at the John Cadman car, just sort of drifts away on you to the left side of our screen there, Eric, and yet he remains in total control. It's amazing how this entire field have matured on this course at Mosport, and it seems very evident here how they draw.
Technically, they call corner 2 a double apex turn. I just call it plain scary, as you have to let that car drift out naturally, and John Cadman did a beautiful job of it.
Now, John has a look to his right, then decides better, but comes right in on Rob Fellows, and this is where Rob seems to be setting a good steady pace out front. Cadman seems a little more inconsistent in that he's braking a little later in the corners, but once they get onto more of a straightaway area, Rob Fellows pulls away a little bit one more time.
They're coming into a very crucial part of the track, and that is the corner 4, corner 5. The corner 5 being the slowest part of this very fast track, and that is the hairpin corner. A proper setup into corner 5 and out will lead you good speed down the straightaway.
Love that view from we'll call that I guess the wing cam off the Rob Fellows car, keeping a very close eye on John Cadman Jr. And John again, not rushing things here, but he is bobbing back and forth. Whoa, look there, like he got a little too far off to the side of the track, in fact.
I'm the one with the bullseye on my car, and I hope that doesn't become a factor in the race, knowing that I'm the championship leader. If anybody does anything stupid, I think it's going to hurt them as much as it'll hurt me.
That's Rob Fellows. He's got to be very, very careful. He wants to clinch that championship here. He is leading the series with only 1 win so far this year. He's really got his work cut out for him, though.
I think what is interesting, though, too, off the start here in these initial laps is there's been very little contact really with the race leaders, and that is rather important. I think they all realize the importance of that. Otherwise, it could well cost them that finish. Now John Cadman tries to make a clean move on the inside. Unsuccessfully, Rob Fellows cuts him off.
Just taking a look there on the inside to see, maybe testing him, maybe trying to put a little bit of pressure on Rob at this time.
Look, a little further back, Kenny Wilden now sitting in 4th. He has split the Motomaster team. What happened there?
Replay here shows he comes up on David Embringham, that black Motomaster car. Corner 10, tucks on the inside, and now he's behind Richard SPÉNARD.
Nice move. SPÉNARD, in fact, gets off in the dust a little bit there, but now the front runners all tighten up one more time. Boy, these guys know this course, and there's hardly breathing space between at least the front 4. In fact, we're watching a whole train of equipment come through here. Almost the front 10 that are running together, Eric.
This is almost the home track for these cars. They started back in '86, and the fans have been coming out in droves to watch this race each and every time that they come to Mosport.
Look at this. John Cadman Jr. again having a look on the inside on Rob Fellows, but no, Rob is not going to give this away easily. He's not really slamming the door. He's simply maintaining his line, I think, in fairness, Eric.
And I think he's showing a lot of maturity as well. He could be sitting back a little bit further back just to get in those points, but I think he wants to win this race.
Let's not forget that Ron Fellows, his brother, is here. It's a big Trans Am weekend at Mosport. Maybe it's fortunate they haven't got the 3 Sunoco cars in here. Now Cadman thinks of a move again. No. Thinks better of it, diving back into corner 1. They're coming up toward that off-camera corner 2 area one more time, and it seems to be the one area of the track where Cadman likes to play games, and he does it again on the inside.
Inside of corner 2 as they enter corner 2. He's not going to do it there either.
No success. Talk about bravery. We mentioned Rob's bravery. John Cadman Jr. showing the same thing, and SPÉNARD kind of keeping a close eye on these 2 in front of him. I think SPÉNARD feeling very confident in his own mind that, hey, you guys go ahead. I'm going to lead this thing within another lap or 2.
You have to remember the incredible speed these cars travel at here. This track creates a fear factor even amongst the most experienced of drivers.
Mosport always has a fear factor. You relax 1 second, this track will grab out and just swat you off the track. You cannot relax for 1 second while you're out there. It requires 100% concentration, and it's just one of these tracks where if you just lose your concentration or just like I say, relax for 1 second, it's going to bite you. And that's where Mosport is become such a competitive track.
Well, during practice, I don't often scare myself, but I did. The car was not handling well, and a couple of places we dropped wheels, and at the speed you go at Mosport, you can't help but think about the barriers. And yeah, I think you think twice at Mosport.
You're traveling a lot higher speeds here. This is a faster track than some of the street courses, although on the street courses you're surrounded by concrete, where here you don't have it quite as much. There's a little bit of room for error, but not much because you're carrying that extra speed down through 2. If you get off in 2, it's pretty hard to come back. 3's the same way. This track bites hard, and you're carrying so much speed.
Here we are, back to the race leaders. It's Rob Fellows in front. John Cadman Jr. has a look to the outside one more time, and SPÉNARD sits, and back of him, the tied car, Kenny Wilden.
I wonder if Doug Beatty Jr. really has any kind of idea that he might be trying to pass, or just the pressure tactic on Rob.
Man, was really look at the Motomaster entry, SPÉNARD, and then of course Wilden. They really drifted out to the inside of the course there. I think they thought, hey, time to attack these 2 front runners. This duo running 3rd and 4th are ready to go. I think they want to go. Oh no! Now Cadman Jr. decides I want the front, and this time they really do rub body work.
Oh my goodness, he gets lost on the outside of the track there, and look at everybody just stream by him.
Well, SPÉNARD is beside him and is going to be successful getting through. So does Wilden getting back into corner 1, and I think Empringham will get by him. No! In fact, Cadman pulls through, cuts Emp off.
From SPÉNARD's car, as we watch them here, he gets up behind Cadman and just a little nudge through the corner.
Call it the wham cam. We got a great shot of that one, I'll tell you. Oh, that was a smack butt. He pulls it off successfully, and now it is Richard SPÉNARD up on the tailpipe of Rob Fellows. Then Kenny Wilden sitting in 3rd. John Cadman Jr. is back in 4th.
Doug Beatty Jr. in 6th. Jacques LELIEVRE in 9th.
Another front-running rookie here in 11th spot. DJ Scranton. More race action in a moment. Welcome back to Mosport Park. It's round 9 of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. Our defending champion SPÉNARD chasing the current point leader, Rob Fellows. The 2 of them fighting it out in front. They've got to do it now.
I think it's time to bring back one of those old terms. This is a scrum of cars.
Kenny Wilden sitting there in the tied entry in 3rd spot. Now Kenny gets to watch what is SPÉNARD going to do with Rob Fellows. And as we have pointed out, SPÉNARD has really dominated on this course. Whoa, Kenny Wilden has a little sprint there, tight on the inside of that corner, but falls. Oh, somebody has gone away.
Cloud of dust. Who is missing here? Kenny Wilden, David Empringham. I believe we're missing John Cadman Jr.
Okay, we'll replay on what John Cadman Jr. is up. Yes, indeed, he gets off into the dirt on his right-hand side. Boom, the car fires across to the left. Now he's really in the rough part of Mosport here. He's off in the field, literally. A little wave, he's back in it, but about 6-7 cars get by.
Another shot from Kenny Wilden's car. You can see that he gets, whoa, he almost collects both of the cars, but he manages to get through fine.
Well, we saw John Cadman Jr. just fly by in front of him, and now we're back to the race leaders. They've ignored all of that action, of course, a little further behind them because they got enough to worry about up front. They being Rob Fellows, our race leader, the number 3 Sunoco entry, and that is Richard SPÉNARD, the reigning champion, number 1 Motomaster entry right on him. And this track has been Motomaster all the way this year.
It's exactly what these drivers were talking about, Jim. They were saying one little mistake could cause to all kinds of problems in Mosport. I think it was proved there by John Cadman Jr.
Let's go in car with the man who calls Mosport one of his favorite tracks, in fact. This is the king, SPÉNARD. His sort of side view of what Rob Fellows is up to. Is he going to make a move to the outside? He might try to take him tight in the corner. Boy, SPÉNARD literally kicking up dust there. He is really going at it.
Richard SPÉNARD's won both races so far here this year. Last year, he won one of them. His teammate Empringham won the other, and Rob Fellows won the 3rd one.
Here they come one more time back into the corner 1 area. When is SPÉNARD going to make his move? I'll tell you, some interesting fighting happening further back here. Here's Doug Beatty Jr., number 11, right up on the Magic Kiss entry of Peter Cohen out of Montreal. The 2 of them have an equally exciting fight for 5th place.
Richard SPÉNARD on the move. Look at this, Jim.
Richard tight on the inside of the corner, is not going to give ground. Rob Fellows tries to maintain his line. No way SPÉNARD's going to give it up. Fellows gets off into the dirt. Oh no, he has been knocked astray, and now SPÉNARD is alone leading this field around Mosport.
It's amazing that he didn't follow him right off the track.
Let's have a look from Kenny Wilden's car. Here's what happened, the vantage point of our 3rd place man. Here's SPÉNARD, now right up on Fellows, goes to the inside.
And actually taps him and sends Fellows into the grass. but did not follow him there, thank goodness.
It's a tough one to spot. Now, was Rob coming in on him, or was Spenard going at him? Let's have a look from Spenard's car. Oh, that's a real smack. And it's a meeting of the minds, I guess, in the middle of the corner.
Number 17, Kenny Wilden, in that bright orange car, managed to hang on to second spot. Here's your new leader, Richard Spenard, followed closely by Kenny Wilden. We asked Kenny what his strategy is for handling Spenard.
Richard's very fast at Mosport, and I'm looking to maybe tag along with him as he moves up through the pack, because he is a good runner here, and he can start using the muscle when he needs to. He's very good at that in a nice kind of way.
Boy, look at Kenny working on Richard out front, and again, Kenny drifts to the outside of the track, and it looks like there's no question Kenny's going to have a go.
It's going to be very, very tough for Kenny to kind of knock Richard Spenard into that top spot. Richard is used to leading here at Mosport.
Again, let's talk about the Motormaster domination here at Mosport, because it is, let's face it, Motormaster running first and third here. David Embringham, very much a threat for Kenny Wilden. I think Kenny's got to keep an eye not only in front here, Eric, but behind him as well.
As I mentioned before earlier in the show, it's been a wild time for Spenard here at Mosport. 11 times he's found the victory. 8 times fastest qualifier. Embringham's won only once here.
Here's Richard Spenard. Okay, his domination of this track was ruined in the first couple of laps here. We had stressed earlier, he led all 40 laps, in fact, run on Mosport going into this event. Rob Fellows kind of frustrated him in that regard early, but now that Spenard is in front, I think he's going to be hard to catch. Kenny Wilden is doing everything he can to. Embringham, of course, wants to be second, so he'll work on Kenny here in a moment or so and try to get by.
We're getting very close to the midway point of this race. I guess we get back to the points battle now. Rob Fellows is way back there.
In fact, there's Rob now trying to catch up to what is a fight for fourth between this man, Doug Beatty Jr., number 11, but he's still sitting back of Peter Cohen. The Magic Kiss entry is a pretty strong fourth at this point. Now, remember, Doug Beatty Jr. spent a lot of years teaching here. He knows this track perhaps a little better than Cohen. It might be to some advantage for him as this race continues.
There's a lot of money up for grabs, and there's a lot of points up for grabs. And with only 2 races remaining, every single spot in this race, every position is worth so much.
Field spreading out a little bit more, we noticed last time as our cameras dwelt on the field streaming by through corners 4 and 5, and now of course the field back into corner 8, led by Spenard, Kenny Wilden, and there's David Embringham.
The incredible thing about Richard Spenard is that he is such a consistent winner. He can be aggressive at times, and he can use a lot of finesse. I mean, he has great victories and holds just about every record there is in this series.
Well, I got to think back to the meeting between Spenard and Rob Fellows, and how has this unnerved Rob? I think it set Rob a little further back than even Richard thought he might do. But the fact is Rob going to be able to fight his way back now, or psychologically, is he now off kilter as far as this race is concerned? That's going to be the main thing we'll be watching for as this race develops.
I don't think Rob Fellows was ready for that. I don't think he expected Richard Spenard to poke his nose in deep into that corner like that, and literally he was trying to shut the door, but it was far too late for that.
You know, Doug Beatty Jr. has pointed out to us in interviews in the past that here at Mosport, it is smooth. The word here is smooth. I think Rob had that going. Once it was disrupted, now it's Spenard who's establishing the smooth, and you've got to try to break his focus or concentration.
Looking back from Rob Fellows' car, currently in 6th spot, back to number 71, John Cadman Jr., sitting in 7th spot. Both of them were victims of just what we were talking about. Richard Spenard, he literally muscled his way to the front today.
Hard to believe a lap or so ago, it was these two we were watching in a fight for the lead overall here at Mosport, and now, in fact, it's Rob Fellows in 6th and John Cadman Jr. sitting in 7th place, and John Cadman still trying to use the same maneuvers to at least gain some advantage in Rob Fellows, but again, maybe Rob has refound the focus. He's not letting Cadman Jr. by.
So much has already happened in less than 1/2 of this race. In a 15-lap race, anything can happen, this kind of sprint race. So the action, there's plenty of it still to come.
Race leader, Richard Spenard, the number 1 Motormaster entry, is back out in front. Is he going to make it 3 wins in a row? I don't know that he has done this in years past in our Players Limited GM Motorsports Series, but I tell you, it could be in its own way kind of a record-shattering year for Spenard here at Mosport if he pulls this off today.
In car now with Kenny Wilden sitting currently in 2nd spot, that number 17 Tide Bounce entry. He's also had a great year so far.
Kenny had a great time in qualifying here. In fact, Kenny still holds the qualifying record at Mosport, so if anyone is smooth here, Kenny can be. But who's going to be Captain Smooth, I guess, between these two, and we're going to find out very soon. You'll notice even the difference between these two front-running cars does not vary as much, even between the corners or the straights now, Eric.
And these two drivers sitting in first and second spot, Richard and Kenny, both want this championship bad, and this is where they can start getting some points back.
Well, you know, David Embringham was hungry too. That third-place car remains very much a factor, depending on what happens here. And now Kenny Wilden comes right up into the tailpipe through corner 5 on Spenard. Kenny try to gain some advantage, climbing up this hill on the back straight. No, again.
And of course, the key to that back straightaway is setting up properly and exiting corner 5 at the right speed. Now, they're hitting around 200 kilometers an hour on that back straightaway, and believe it or not, it looks straight, but there actually is a kink, a little bit of a turn in the back straightaway when you're going that speed.
Just spotted that, in fact, as you were chatting. Leaders come down into corner 8, and this fight for 4th place continuing between the Magic Kiss entry. Rest of our field coming by. There's Jacques Leliev right on camera. Terry Betts, Chris Davies, the new colors right on him. TJ Scranton. Over the crest of the hill comes Jeff Lapsevich and the rest of our field.
Our current leader, Richard Spenard, smooth run, tasting victory already.
Under the start-finish line for the 4th time this year, Richard Spenard at Mosport wins as the Goodyear mid-race leader. He picks up the Goodyear Eagles NR50 tires. They're good to at least 240K, so if he wants to get hotter out here, he can do it today, Eric.
We talk about the speed and the handling and the precision these cars have shown here at Mosport already. These are the exact same Firebirds and Camaros that you can buy at any GM dealership. They're of course fitted with roll bars and various other safety equipment, and you might be able to see one of these flash by in the street every once in a while because some of these drivers do drive them to the track.
Well, the Motormaster team have had a bad year. A lack of competitiveness is how Richard Spenard phrases that. But I tell you, our current leader, which is Richard, the reigning king, he is really making a charge here to win this event. Wants to make it the 3rd for 1991. In fact, before the race, we got Richard to explain to us his overall strategy for today.
Points for me are not that important. I don't want to finish 10 in the championship, but I like to see it one race at a time. I like to win races. And if I win the most races and that brings me the championship, that's great. If I win the most races and doesn't get me the championship, well, so be it. You know, there's not a lot of money for points, and there's a fair amount of money to win races. So I usually go for the win.
And of course, for Richard, he's running with a brand new chief mechanic for this season as well. He's sort of the man behind the scenes, but oh, look at this fight that's happening. There's Doug Beatty Jr. getting by Cohen. 11 gets ahead of the Magic Kiss entry, and the man who knows this course, Beatty, now gains some advantage. Oh no, look at this. Cohen is going to fight back though, Eric.
That is a beautiful, beautiful fight in there and through corner 10, a very slippy part of the track.
3 cars abreast. In fact, going down the front straightaway, John Cadman Jr. thinks, hey, why don't I take all this? He has it going corner 1, and in fact, literally tries to knock Cohen out of the way, but Cohen hangs in like a rock.
Oh, John Cadman Jr. sitting in 6th spot right now. Did not have a great start to this, but boy, he is not giving up at all.
Well, this Cohen is no kid. You're not going to scare him away today either. Actually, when you think about Peter Cohen's run this season, he has had a great time in 1991.
Can't wait to see these guys, these sort of midfield guys next year. Going to be exciting.
You know who else is just behind there? Look at this. There's Rob Fellows now, the Sunoco entry. And he is doing what he can. In fact, he is all over John Cadman Jr. at this point. So interesting things are going on back here of our race leaders.
Standings have changed substantially since we started this race as we head into the mid portion of it now.
This really has to be the race we have to watch. And Cohen's car looks a little beat up at this point as we get back to our race leaders. Richard Spenard Embringham a little further off the pace now.
Doug Beatty Jr. in 4th, Peter Cohen 5th. Sitting in the 6th spot, John Cadman Jr., Jacques Leliev, leading rookie in 7th spot. And look at Chris Davies sitting in 9th spot overall.
Hi, I'm Richard Pitt. Stay tuned for the GM Motorsports Hour.
Welcome back. It's round 9 of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. Our current leader, Richard Spenard, going for that 3rd victory this year here at Mosport, and Kenny Wilden right on his tail.
Richard Spenard, incredible success here at Mosport. We keep talking about it, but really he's always dominated at this track.
Well, Wilden kicks up a little bit of dust there. In fact, that time Spenard went a little wide in that corner, and as a result, Wilden can make a move. Oh, Wilden drifts away.
He cannot do it. He made a good shot at it, took a good shot at it, but there's no way he can get by Spenard.
Now we're back to the same old story here one more time. The same differential between our 3 race leaders. the best fight really is happening for fourth place overall as SPÉNARD brings the field back into corner 5.
Look at the damage on the side of Richard SPÉNARD's car. Just on the driver's side, you can see the big wheel marks on his door.
SPÉNARD takes it again up into that back straight, the fastest part of the course for these competitors. And again, I think we'll see these distances remain rather constant here.
What a beautiful battle this is. Cadman, Cohen, and Beatty Jr.
Okay, we've got Doug Beatty Jr. sitting in 4th place. The fight for 5th. Cadman, I think, look at that, a little wave at Cohen as Cadman, in fact, fights to get by. No, Cohen is not going to give that away easily. He's saying, don't wave at me, Cadman. I'm hanging on here, boy.
Was that a goodbye wave or an international sign language? I'm not quite sure.
Oh, look at this, though. In the meantime, Cadman does get by Cohen, and now Rob Fellows makes an attack on the Machine Kiss entry. And Cohen, in fact, loses a little bit of the rear end of the car there, but holds off Rob Fellows at this point.
That is a beautiful battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Back to the race leaders, though. Richard SPÉNARD still in front. Wilden looks to the inside. Oh, tried to pull in by about a car length in that corner, but thinks better of it one more time. I don't know what's running through Embringham's mind. I guess he's just saying, oh, let these guys go at it.
And with these cars being so equal, and they really are equal, car preparation becomes so important. You know, they can only adjust tire pressures here and there, little adjustments to get that extra advantage. You really need a professional to do it.
The real race action, though, is this fight with Doug Beatty Jr. and John Cadman. They're going for this 4th spot overall. What's interesting, too, in this field is both these cars are actually prepared by the same man, Kirk Robinson. Kirk is the subject, in fact, of our Players Limited profile.
Racing requires hundreds of man-hours of preparation prior to any competition. In the area of Canadian showroom stock racing, one man stands alone as the best. His name, Kirk Robinson.
We're responsible for the preparation of 7 players' cars, 6 Firestone Firehawk cars. We've started a new effort with the old Squad 4 this year and the development of that into the Firehawk. We work as a crew chief for the Sunoco team, manage, transport, the endurance team. We basically run it, and and then we do a little bit of coaching. We've got some new drivers starting out, and we try and help them.
Kirk has used his racing knowledge and experience to build a business in car preparation. Robinson Racing is the culmination of Kirk's hard work and expertise.
You start out small, as with anything. Fortunately, like I said before, I've worked with lots of very good people. Started out with Richard and Ronnie, and the next year worked with Richard, and it's just we got involved with the Endurance Series back in 1989. We took the championship there. We had the Rookie of the Year in 1989. 90 we had the championship in Players and the championship in the Endurance Series again. And it's just a little bit at a time. Lots of hard work. We take one day at a time.
Kirk's abilities do not stop with car preparation. One of Kirk's greatest talents lie in his ability to manage all elements of his team, especially the drivers.
It gets pretty emotional sometimes. Emotions run high, there's a lot of money involved, promotion for the sponsors, doing a proper job, and you have to have a lot of patience because of the many drivers I work with, a lot of patience and understanding this and believe in them. And when they have a problem, I believe that they have a problem, that it's not just them, and show genuine concern. It takes a unique personality, I think.
While being highly respected as a team manager and businessman, Kirk's first love and driving force remains his interest in the automobile. He has a true need to create the perfect racing machine.
I like hands-on. I can't get away from that. I do enjoy hands-on the car for some strange reason. Yeah, I do. I guess because I am a mechanic, you know. I don't think I could totally detach myself and sit and watch. My guys might want me to sometimes, but I don't think I could do that. I think that's sort of how we got where we are, is when there's a weak moment, I can jump in and wrench too.
Kirk Robinson, the man is a marvel, and we're looking at Richard SPÉNARD leading our field through in the car that Kirk won the 1990 championship with when he worked for Richard. I think there's no question the king misses his man.
It's taken a while for Richard Spenard's team to kind of gel this year and for his new crew chief to get things going.
Look at John Cadman Jr. here working on Peter Cohen. No, Cohen takes the advantage at this stage, pulls in front of Cadman one more time, but let's go in car with John Cadman Jr. and pick up on this fight because it's a good one for really the 5th spot.
What an impressive season Peter Cohen has had so far.
Remember, Peter has won in the past in our Players Limited GM Motorsports Series, so this young man is no slouch. Oh, look at this. A move by Cadman on the inside. No, Cohen will not let him through. He does not let him by.
A very narrow part of the track. Look at these 3 cars going nose to tail.
That blue Sunoco entry is Rob Fellows, and you can bet Rob is trying to get that focus back one more time. I think he's got it, Eric.
And with that fight with Cadman, Cohen, and Fellows, Doug Beatty Jr. is beginning to stretch his lead.
Indeed. In fact, a few car lengths ahead of this man, John Cadman Jr. There's Cohen. There's Rob Fellows. This is getting interesting.
13 laps completed. Spenard leads. Wilden second. Embringham third.
Top rookie is still Jacques Leliev sitting in 8th. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mosport. Here's Richard Spenard, our race leader, keeping young Kenny Wilden at bay at this stage. Both competitors, mind you, looking at closing the championship point gap between them, and Rob Fellows is running fairly well back in this field.
Oh yeah, the money up for grabs and the points up for grabs with only 2 races, well, 1 race after this one remaining. Every single position is so important.
Front 3 pretty constant in 4th. There's Doug Beatty Jr. Now, look at this. We've got Cohen and Cadman coming around. Ronnie Shell, the Poplar Groves Camaro, is a back outer already in the race. Then Rob Fellows. Here's Jacques Leliev, the yellow car in view now.
Great season so far for Leliev, leading in the rookie points.
Love Chris Davies' new colors as he goes by. J.J. Scranton and Lapsevich coming through as we get back to the race leaders.
We get back a little bit further in that pack, you know, about the midfield. These are the guys that are going to be front runners next year with this experience they've got this year.
I'll tell you, the fights are equally exciting. Just a little bit further back of this trio that are running out front right now. But let's go in car with Kenny Wilden. How will he attack Spenard, and can he get in front of him?
Richard Spenard has got a very large, a very wide car today. The hips are rather big on Spenard's car. Kenny Wilden's really got his work cut out for him.
See, again, Spenard being so smooth here through corners 8 and 9 as he wends his way back toward the front straight, whereas Kenny Wilden, oh, look at this, he tries the inside. Thought he might embarrass Spenard in the front straight, no luck.
Spenard passed another car there earlier in the race, but Kenny Wilden was not going to do it this time around.
Well, let's have a go at corner 1 one more time. And here is where Kenny really does not gain too much ground.
Great race so far by number 81, Neil Jameson, who's a first-timer in this series. He holds off the Tim Horton car of Joe Lapsevich Jr. 15th spot is what they're looking at right now.
Actually, look at Lapsevich is right up on Jameson, and the 2 of them have got their own little dice happening far beyond our race leaders, but again, a race worth watching within this race.
Learning so much each and every race for these new drivers who come out, guys like Neil Jameson who come out to this series. They'll be back next year.
By the way, with great sponsorship, I mean, you look at Neil alone, he's got Jumbo Video backing him, A&A Records, for example, one of the big chains, and nice sponsorship sprinkled throughout the pack.
And in a lot of cases, that's really the difference between fielding a team or not, is getting that all-important sponsorship money.
In car with John Cadman Jr. You talk about interesting dices. Here's John now screaming up one more time on Doug Beatty Jr. And no, Doug is not going to give this one away at all. Cadman has certainly proven himself on the street circuits, wants to look good on a road course. He's trying to prove to all the fans here, cheering him on, that he can race as well anywhere.
Love that corner 5 shot as they come through that hairpin section of the track, the slowest part of the track, onto this, the fastest part of the track. They head uphill here now, a little bit of a crest, and then into a sweeping right-hander. That is full throttle open through that corner. Then they get into the S's as we get around here. A quick lefter, and then the right-hand corner 10, the last corner before the start-finish line.
Now look at this, Cadman literally kind of nudging Beatty Jr. as they come in and up through corner 9, heading back toward the front straight. It seems to be one of the areas where the 4 or 6 cars out in front want to try to make a move, Eric.
Kenny Wilden is not getting anything done here so far, other than hanging on to Richard Spenard. His time is running out. He's got to do something soon.
I would think another man who may make a move soon is David Embringham. In fact, Wilden looked a little rocky there that time diving into the corner. I don't know. I think maybe he's just getting a little too frenetic about getting by Spenard. It's may not work to his advantage.
Maybe a little impatience, but look at these trio. The trio comes in to view now. What a beautiful race they've had.
Well, I'll tell you, Doug Beatty Jr. has been caught up by John Cadman Jr., and as a result, Peter Cohen has come in here as well. So the trio are running very close on each other. If anyone is losing out a little bit, it is Cohen, in fact. But Beatty has got Cadman to worry about as they go under the bridge.
They might be sitting in 4th, 5th, and 6th spot, but you know, they're going to get out of the cars at the end of this race, and they're going to say, hey, that was fun.
I really do. I really feel we know what's happening here because Beatty, the former instructor here, has set what he calls a smooth line. Cadman, again, as with Wilden, being a little more frenetic about his attack here, doing whatever he can to try to shake Beatty up, but Beatty's not about to be shaken.
It's an important time for a lot of the drivers who have not had a lot of track time here at Mosport to be able to follow an experienced driver around the track and kind of learn the hot line.
Let's have a look at the standings after 70 laps. Richard Spenard, the race leader, Kenny Wilden, Embringham, Beatty, Cadman.
Peter Cohen sits in 6th spot. Rob Fellows way back in 7th. Didier Schreinen sits in 11th spot. Jeff Lapsevich in 12th.
We're back for the last 2 laps of round 9 of the Players Limited GM Motorsports Series. Kenny Wilden applying some late pressure on our race leader, Richard Spenard. Can he get him?
What is going through Kenny Wilden's mind? How is he going to get by Richard Spenard? You know, Kenny Wilden's had a good year so far, and his team has really come together.
Almost a tap from Kenny Wilden on the reigning champion, Richard Spenard, as he comes through the front straight one more time. Earlier, we chatted with Kenny's crew chief, Lino Silvera, about strategy.
Well, I think if he can just stay with Spenard and push him, I know it's going to be hard for him to make a mistake, but Kenny can do it. I know he can.
Confidence in that team.
They don't seem to be, they're not off psychologically at all. I think there's been too much of this Kenny Wilden running second this year. It's time for him to get another win.
After 18 laps, look at some of the moves they've made. Kenny Wilden from 6th to 2nd. Chris Davies, 12th to 10th. Sean Grossman, 16th to 14th. And Neil Jameson, 21st to 16th.
Good moves happening here, and there should be some coming up front here as Richard Spenard, our race leader, comes into view one more time.
Time is ticking away for Kenny Wilden. He's really got to do something here important.
Oh, look at this. Now he steps on it and tries to make his move on the outside. Nope. Then he dives over to the inside. Then he says, okay, I'll try the middle. Bang. No, he can't get through the tailpipe area or the engine compartment, so he drops off once more.
If he can catch Richard Spenard, he's got to make his move at the end of that straightaway.
Here they come. They are at full speed. Again, we point out fastest part of the course right here. And the distance remains rather constant one more time. Spenard does not give it away here. Kenny tends to kick up a little bit of dirt. He takes a tighter line on the inside and now tries the outside. Nope.
Into corner 8, he's not going to make it. Now they're into a very narrow part of the track. Richard Spenard really can hold him off here.
Back with Kenny Wilden one more time. The Spenard brakes come on. Look, just feathering those brakes. Spenard handles this like a master. Well, he is.
Final corner, into corner 10 he goes. Richard Spenard has got it.
Spenard just ahead of Wilden, and the flag drops. The checkers for Richard Spenard. Unbelievable. 3 victories in 1991. All 3 of their runs here at Mosport. Now, another fight.
Let's go back in car with John Cadman Jr. sitting in 5th spot.
Now, can he get Doug Beatty Jr. before those checkered flags wave one more time? John Cadman Jr. comes in. He is trying to edge Beatty right off the course, literally. Beatty says, no, I'm not going. And he did not make it at the checkered flag.
Close one. Here's the results. Richard Spenard, our winner. Kenny Wilden, 2nd. David Embringham, 3rd. Doug Beatty Jr., 4th. John Cadman Jr., 5th. Peter Cohen, 6th. Rob Fellows, 7th. Terry Betts, 8th. And our leading rookie this year, Jacques Lelievre, sitting in 9th spot. Welcome back to Mosport Park as we wrap up round 9. There's your winner, Richard Spenard. Drove a perfect race here today, and Richard was also our Goodyear mid-race leader.
Congratulations on winning the Goodyear mid-race leader award.
Thank you very much. We'll use them.
Hey, use them in good health.
Congratulations.
Perfect.
We'll do it again.
Well.
Richard Spenard. We had a hat trick here at Mosport in 91.
Well, that's good because I didn't look too good a few races ago. I wish a championship would be held in Mosport. I look pretty good. But unfortunately, we have to go to different tracks and we struggle. I mean, it's been a tough season for us, but I think this race, it might be a turnaround in the championship for us. And You know, again, without the crew, without Motormaster Trudeau, I couldn't do it. So I'd like to thank everyone. I think the driving was there today, but also I had the car to support me, so it was good.
Yeah, it's a real turnaround, I think, in the luck that's been hitting you in the last few events anyway, Richard.
Well, I had difficulties. Either I had some bad luck with driving, I got bumped, or mechanically I felt that I didn't have the setup. But it's, you know, it's just part of the game. It's a very, very competitive series, and it's getting a lot more difficult than it used to be. You used to be able to turn the key and go and win races, where now you have to develop the car, you know? And so it caught us by surprise a little bit at some of the track, plus the bad luck. You know, I've been very lucky for 6 years, and it cannot be with you all the time, so it's fine. I can't think I win very well.
You're not going to give away this title easily, though.
I never did, mind you. You know, like I said, always, I'm here to win races. Championship is a secondary, but if it comes with the win, I'll take it.
Neil Jameson is our GM hard charger.
You looked really good out there, and you joined our series late, but you joined at the Molson Indy, and you had a real good run. And on behalf of GM Parts Department, it gives me great pleasure to present you with the cellular phone and the GM Parts Performance Award. Good racing.
Thank you very much. I had a good race out there today. The crew prepared the car very, very well. And on behalf of my sponsors, A&A, Jumbo Video, and Premdor, I'd like to express my thanks for the award. Look forward to Halifax.
Good to have you in the series.
Thank you very much.
The whole race was a battle.
What a great race, David. I thought there were going to be some team tactics crop up here.
Well, I to tell you the truth, I didn't quite have it. Kenny and Richard were running a really strong pace, and they were having a really good battle. I was just, at the beginning I was strong, and I seemed to just, the car had a little bit of problem in corner 2, washing out a bit, so I was just trying to keep it as cool as possible.
Looks like a good turnaround for the team, though, David. You got to be happy here.
Oh, definitely. I'm really happy to be back on the podium, I'll tell you. It's good to give Canadian Tire some more exposure. We've been struggling a little bit, and I think we're back at it.
So at Mosport, it's a hat trick for Richard SPÉNARD in 1991. The champagne flies one more time. Richard has got to be excited. Suddenly it means the reigning champion may just have an opportunity here to hang on to the title. Rob Fellows had a terrible finish here, and of course Kenny Wilden. It could be his championship this year as well. One more event to go. It's on the streets of Halifax. It's going to be a dandy.
As a postscript to this event, Kenny Wilden's car was found to be in violation of technical rules, so his result was disqualified. As a result of this, the overall championship now shows Richard SPÉNARD the only real rival for the 1992 championship, which will be decided in Halifax next race.
This is the GM Motorsport Hour. Brought to you by Players Limited, General Motors of Canada Limited, Quality GM Parts, the expert choice, and by Sony, the one and only.